What's up? Thank you guys for coming back. It's the IGR podcast. I'm here with Bludakid.
Yes, sir. Shout out IGR. We're in the building.
Thank you. I'm here. Before we get started, as always, got to shout out Vision Apparel. Go follow them on Instagram. They're everywhere. They're doing big things. Law, he provided us with our original few intros and beats. Thank him for that. But we will be doing some work with Bludakid also. So wait on that. That's coming up. This episode we're gonna be talking about music. We're gonna dive deep into it from Bludakid's perspective, what he's doing and stuff like that. So what's going on, dude? How are you? Where are you from? What's up?
I'm all right, man. It's another day, another dollar. You know what they say, but it's slow out here with Corona, especially in the city. I imagine where you're from. It's kind of similar because it's close to the city, but not as bad. But the numbers are still increasing. Talk about a second wave, whatever antibodies are coming out, whenever. But
I think this shit's fake.
You know, I've been hearing some conspiracy.
I'm joking. This shit is.
Yeah, I mean, it's killing people, it's killing everyone, yo. You know, like that Bed Intruder song, like hide your kids, like hide your wife.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Corona's fucking everybody.
Yeah, word.
Yeah.
But I'm from Harlem in the city. 123rd Street. Got a tattoo on my arm in case I forget. But
Respect it.
Dude, shit is crazy out here, but I stay in the right mindset because all you can do is think positive through all the negativity, regardless of the situation, whenever. That's the way I like to go about things, just staying and keeping a positive mindset, looking forward to things as opposed to back. Just keeping that in mind, definitely. So I like to push a lot of my followers and stuff that are still growing, but when one day I want to have a lot of influence, I expect to push that, definitely.
Always, dude.
Yeah.
Always. And just really for the audience, I met you at SLU, St. Lawrence University, deep as fuck, all the way by Canada. And I met you at the Vision release party, and the dude, just so you guys know, the dude had great energy, super respectful, super just great energy. I'm like, yo, okay, bet. So then we connected at the party, and we stayed in touch and stuff like that. And of course, I've been following him. He's been following the stuff I'm doing. And I'm just like, yeah, this is someone who definitely has a vision and a plan, and he's getting shit done. So just to big you up, claps for that and everything, dude.
Appreciate that, Jay. Thank you.
Always. So yeah, let's jump into the music, dude. So what's the state of the music industry? How do you see it? What's going on with it?
So the music industry is it's a very odd word. I don't want to sound like a professor right now talking about music, but the music industry is always changing. It's going to be changing every single second, especially when you're not thinking about it. As soon as your favorite artist release their next album, that's when the music industry changes. So, and it goes so on and so forth for every single genre in the industry. The sound is always changing. What's popular, for example, drill music now with Pop Smoke, R.I.P., Fivio
UK
Foreign,
boys,
those guys. They introduced it.
What's good, fam?
They've been on the drill beats. Yeah, right.
What's
Come
good,
on, bro.
fam? You from the north? Bro. Are you from the north? I'm like, that shit's fire.
Yeah, but drills were caught on recently. I've had a lot of people, a lot of artists that I work with, approach me and say, can you make a drill beat for me? And it's not my style personally, because I like to deviate from the norm, especially with the work that I do. A lot of it's different. It's a different mindset because I'm trying to invent something. I'm trying to create a new genre, which is not really the norm. And a lot of people like to copy their favorite producers, artists, so be it. But with the drill beats recently, I think that's just an example too. I'm just using drills. I'm not showing any shade on drill.
No, we fuck with drill. We fuck with drill.
It's that 808s are woo, yeah, bro. But honestly, it's gonna be. I say drill will be over in about a year or two. In popularity wise, yeah, because I think it's being overdone now. It's a phase of hip hop. You know how just we were listening to I remember ASAP Rocky like got on a Skrillex song like back in
Okay.
2012.
Well, it was a while ago. Yeah.
Wild for the Night. Yeah, Wild for the Night. Like that was like when people were fucking with dubstep, and like that's what it moved to. Like people want to start collabing with dubstep artists to produce a song. Marshmello, like Diplo was starting to produce for rappers and stuff like that. So like we're going through different phases. There's a phase now that producers, well, actually we kind of passed it, where producers on YouTube can get famous. That's very common. Everybody knows about that.
Yeah, no, I mean we're definitely going to talk about YouTube and the monetization behind music a little bit later. But so where do you see like it going next? So you're saying drill is ending.
Yeah.
Do you think that drill is going to evolve then end, or we're just going to boom and then hop into something else?
And that's actually what I'm really excited to talk about this. Like, I'm like, so what would happen next in theory is that a new sound would be created, right? And that's what catches on. That's what people want to hear, just because it's different. And little you know, but like a lot of artists that wants to sound like that will end up adopting features of what's hot, like what's the new hit, what's like
naturally,
the billboards. Naturally, just because they realize that it's a new thing, you know, like it's a new sound and it's introduced to them, and they want to kind of, I don't know, like bite, if you want to say. But
in a way, but I think I see what you're saying. You definitely have to ride that wave to get to where you want to go, and then you have some sort of credibility, and then okay, you can really do what you want. I see that. Damn.
And that's honestly where being a leader and a follower comes into play. That's like one of my biggest like two conceptions, just being a leader and a follower when it comes to music. And if you can stay ahead of the curve and you can be the one that creates a sound that's popular before everyone else even gets there, like 2 years ago, you would have been making that beat, right? But you were still in that mindset that you're going to be creating what's next. And what's unique, because that's always what catches on. Nobody wants to hear stuff that they've heard before. If you're different and you got faith in that, that's what's going to be what catches on next. And then you're going to be known as a leader, not a follower. You don't want to be known as a follower. Followers. But not the Instagram followers. They're cool. But leaders, I'm talking leaders like as in Kanye West. Like he changes.
Dude, he's pushing. He's constantly pushing. I mean, I think back to the Yeezus album. Everyone said like, it's all right. Look at 5 years later, everyone's doing the electric shit. Everyone's adding in crazy auto tune. Like it's like he pushed the genre. So what you're saying is you want to sort of be one of those pioneers in a way.
Exactly. Because what I often find with artists that I come by who try to sound like their other favorite artists, like some Comethazine kind of stuff like that, like hard shit. They want to sound like Lil TJ, whatever, you name it. All right,
melodic as fuck. I don't want to do it, but I don't want to do it. All right.
No doubt. Yeah, they want to sound like that, and when you get in that phase, you often get comfortable, and you get comfortable with following what's the next in tune, what's the next sound, what's being popular in the music industry, and it's just gonna be like that. It's gonna stay like that until you learn how to start leading and with your music. And that just comes with being different. You know, like, I don't know if you've heard of Oliver Tree. He's like a meme dude.
Will Tree. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Lightly, can you please remind me in the audience, like, who is that? What's going on?
So Oliver Tree, and I will say I like his music because it's very different. Like, go listen to Oliver Tree. Shout out Oliver Tree on YouTube. He became famous through just scootering, I guess. He did trick scootering and whatnot. One of his friends made a viral video of him one time. He was wearing this coat, this neon pink and like purple Patagonia coat. Now he's created it into like his own personality and pretty much wears it in like every single interview, every video. And he has like a bowl cut. That's his like signature.
Oh, wow.
So he was able to take his look and gain influence with that. And we're going to talk about that later, influence, because that's another big thing. He was not hot at all. Look at the dude. He's like in his almost 30s, I'm pretty sure. But you could tell that he's put the time in, and he was preparing. He was preparing for all what was to come. And I think he entered the industry at the perfect time because he's an example of a leader who knows how to take the sound and completely manipulate it. If it is what people fuck with at the time, so be it. And like if he wants to blend genres even, which is very smart and very common among leaders in the industry, then you're gonna blend the genres. Like, I've heard like a song of him with like country, rap, Lil
Yeah,
Nas.
doing a lot of different things we really haven't heard before.
Yeah,
I think
experimentation.
it's exactly. I heard a couple snippets. Some people told me about them, but that was like a long time ago. But with just turning to you, so like you're a producer. Are you also an artist? You know, do you sing? Do you rap too, or?
Well, yeah. So recently, well, I gotta tell you a little bit about my story a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I started producing 2 years ago, and I was taking lessons at this studio in Brooklyn at first from this one dude who used to produce for Fat Joe in the '90s,
Wow.
like some pretty notable artists. And I really just went through 2 lessons with him before I started realizing that it's something I wanted to take seriously because I was progressing as much as I would.
Yeah.
I like at the first lesson I showed up, and I kind of had an idea of how to use FL Studio Fruity Loops, which is what I use to produce on mainly. I plan on expanding to like other platforms, but that's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it kind of got to the point where he was trying to feed off the kind of younger vibe. And I say that not in a cocky way at all. Like it's just like he was trying to understand better what the newer generation wants musically. And I feel like I was providing that to him, and I actually got almost as good as him. And not to sound cocky at all, I'm sorry, but like I was
That's
pretty
a
much
big
at his
statement.
level. I
That's a
was
big
pretty much at
statement.
his level by like the second lesson. And from there, producing has just been like an upward path of progression for me. Like I just love it. I keep getting better at it every single day.
I feel that.
I started 2 years ago. I got the producer version of FL Studio just over the summer, just like because I was bored, and I just started making a bunch of beats. I didn't get bored from it. Like it's just one thing that I won't get bored at. I'll just click out melodies on my piano and sample stuff, and I'll just create something different. It sounds different every single time, and every single beat that I make just gets better and better. So like, it's more than a passion for me, I would say. Although like, and I hate the term beat making because it takes so much like of like the life out of
it's so much
producing
more
music.
to it than that. Yeah, so much more to it.
It is. And it honestly does take musical intuition. I've been playing guitar for like almost 15, 16 years.
Okay.
I've been teaching myself keyboard, as most producers should if you're trying to be up there. It's been a whole path of progression for me. And sorry, what was the question again before I went on the background?
No, you're good. So like really just I really wanted to get into like your love of music. Like what did it just start with those 2 lessons? Did it, you said you've been playing some instruments. Like how did you get the love of music at first?
Exactly. Yeah, so I used to play like talent shows at my schools. I won the talent show once. It was honestly really passionate for me. Yeah, it was fun. I like getting on the stage, like running down stage, clap people's hands, like feeling like I was like on top. It was dope. Like performing, and I can't wait. And I'm gonna get into that because I am expanding into being an artist. Performing is one of like the most lively things for me. Like I've DJ'd at a couple events, nothing huge, which is why I feel like when it does get huge, it'll be exhilarating and breathtaking, pretty much.
But it's that work that you put in now, and you know that, getting better every day, like you said.
Exactly, and that's a motto. Exactly, get better every day. Like that's a huge motto to live by at anything you do. Because then, like, what are you gonna do if you don't enjoy it? A lot of people have jobs that they're stuck with that they don't enjoy, and they won't get better because they don't enjoy it. And like, this is obviously something I take very seriously, and I also love. So like, a lot of people need to focus on like what they love. That's another message that I probably push to all my followers. But
So what do you like to create? Like what's your favorite type of music that you like to create yourself? Like what's your sound in a way is really what I'm trying to ask.
I would say that my sound, I go through a whole bunch of different sounds. I would describe my music pretty much that I create as bipolar or quad polar, whatever you want to say. Like it's always changing. And that's what I want to also get into with YouTube beats. I can't really distinguish my beats. I can, right, into like a tight beat, like a The Baby type beat, like a Playboi Carti type beat. But at the same time, I could see like 20 other rappers over it, just because it's so like versatile.
You're saying it's like, just a beat. It's a beat. Okay.
It's a beat. So that's why I don't like to I don't like to limit myself, you know, like when I'm trying to sound like some other producer, to say the least. And what you were saying before with like artist or producer, recently I've actually been trying to, after 2 years of producing and having like 1,760 something in that area, 1,760 whatever beats. I just passed like 1,750 last week.
Wow.
I'm really just starting to realize that I could get on the computer and I could do that as I please, like if I want to. But it's time to start moving on and focusing on more important things that could build my image and influence a personality for a fan base to eventually start fucking with, and a large fan base. That's what I'm really looking at.
So I mean, not to cut you off, but let's dive a little deeper into that. So like, how do you want to brand yourself? Like, what do you see yourself being? Are you, you know what I mean? Are you like someone who's like super intellectual? You just want to like spit, you know what I mean? Like game to people? Or you just more have a good time, chill? Are you more emotional? Like, how do you really see you becoming an artist and what that looks like to you?
Well, obviously as an artist, you do have to develop your own sound, as they say, if you want to be heard, you know, like, and I gotta have a lot of different sounds. I have like plenty of demos, nothing like really professionally recorded, because I really just started becoming an artist for my own songs instead of, I want to say becoming an artist, like whatever, vocalizing, blah, blah, blah. I started doing that like about 2 months ago. So like that was when coronavirus was hitting, no studios were really open. It was really tough. But I've been out here on my balcony recording this mic, just like having some fun, seeing what I could do. But it's more of a sound-wise, I would say, you know, like I'm really on different stuff because like I said, a lot of my beats are different. I feel like I operate the same way when it comes to vocals. I'll sing on something. That's why I don't want to say that I'm a rapper, or I want to say that I'm like a whatever vocalist or whatever. I would say that I'm an artist. Period. End of story. Because there's so many things you could do with being an artist. You could do pop. You could sing. You could. Oh, shit.
A whole lot
I
of
would just
things.
say whatever sounds good. Whatever sounds good. But it's different depending on the song that I'm trying to do. How I'm feeling. How I'm feeling really just changes a lot. What I realized, and this is going to be a really good key for the audience, if you're ever trying to become an artist, and this is what the greats do. You really just like, if you're ever recording, you want to exhaust your voice. So like the point where you can't, it's hard to let vocals go. You know, like you want to, if you have a verse, like say that shit like 20, 30 times, right? And like keep on saying it. And then go to the next part and say that 30 times. And your voice is going to get tired. But when you try to do the actual vocals and you actually try to record at that point, you're going to notice a big difference in how much emphasis and emotion is going to be behind it. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah,
that's a big thing for a lot of artists. A lot of people just want to get on right as soon as they're ready for it.
So what you're saying is like your voice has to be in tune with your emotions and your body.
Exactly.
And that's also like a memory thing too, though, right? You know what I mean? Like, so everything's all in one, and then you just lay it on the track and let that bitch do what it do.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, like it'll depend on the beat. It'll depend on the instrumental, which is why I do a lot of different shit. Like I just love feeling different ways. Like I said, it's bipolar. Like I'm not bipolar. I don't think.
I mean, no, dude, that shit's a superpower. I mean, listen, Kanye said it the best. I hate being bipolar. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you got,
you probably switched personalities right at that exact sentence. Like.
Exactly. I mean, you never know, but it's a huge thing. So I mean, if you are gonna describe your music like that, dude, that shit's a superpower. That shit's fucking awesome. That shit's dope. But
thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Awesome. So let's pivot a little bit. We talked about branding. We talked about different stuff like that. So how do you think other artists should brand themselves? Like not so much that, but can you walk us through like a specific way to brand yourself?
Yeah, I can. One of the things about like my transition into being an artist is studying a lot about the music business. And I've read like a couple books, one by Donald Passman or something. I don't even remember. I don't have it handy, but it's called Everything You Need to Know About Music Business. I recommend it to anyone who's trying to get into it to actually know. But in terms of influence and making money in other ways besides music itself, which will very rarely make you enough to live unless you're a superstar. Streams in the digital age will not make you jack shit. So like,
Why not?
Yeah, it'll, because unless you're like Post Malone, Lil Uzi, and you get like 300, 400 mil on a song, that'll probably generate like a 400 million plays song. I would say would generate about maybe like $20,000 to $30,000. Like
really? Well, you said 400
in streams.
In streams. So you're saying like 400,000 plays?
Yeah, no, 400 million plays.
400 million plays.
Probably around like, I might be off. Here, I'm gonna like, you could do the calculation.
No, take some
right?
time.
But
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that because I know it's 0.008 cents for Spotify per play. So, and it changes because as the streams go up, it gets more popular. So they start paying a little bit less on the cent. It's not exact because it's so popular.
So 40 million. So for 40 million times 0.008, that's $320,000.
Okay, so then I was exaggerating a little bit. I think I said.
So 400 million, you said.
Yeah.
Times
That's 3. That's like 3.
That's 3.2 million.
Or it might be 0.0008. I'm not exactly, bro. I need to be like more on top of this because I like always get the numbers jumbled up in my head. But yeah, so they're not gonna make that. They're not gonna make. No one's making $1 million.
Point being,
yeah.
If you're not that big, the money is gonna look much different. Okay,
exactly.
I see your point.
Exactly. So, aside from that, if we're talking influence, a lot of artists get endorsement deals, and that's a big thing. So you want to talk about like fashion, and this is often how a lot of artists also get their showing in the industry. This is how they get hurt. A lot of artists nowadays that you notice, they don't get in the industry through being musically talented most of the time because it's really about something that'll sell. So
look at Cardi B.
Labels, yeah, exactly. She's a big pusher in that theory itself.
She was a stripper. Then she was on one season of VH1 Love and Hip Hop or something like that. Boom, she's an artist. Blew up.
And it's because she got the personality too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, she knows how to like talk. She knows how to rap. She knows how to act like whatever.
She knows how to play her character at times as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And she's smart for all that. She's a good marketer. But whether it be in fashion, right? If you want to start your own brand, if you want to start even modeling, acting, something like look at Drake started his career through acting. There's Blueface. A lot of people get viral on Instagram, whatever social platform you're talking about before they get famous. Ron Suno, I'm sure if you're familiar with him. He's not the most talented, but he's very influential in the social media world, especially on Instagram for posting funny content. And a lot of artists get in the industry now because of their numbers. You know, like the record label comes to them and they will look at how much attraction they can gain and how much money they can make for the record label at the end of the day. Musical talent or not, most of the time. So
yeah, I mean, sort of like what you're saying is you have to have sort of the full package now. I mean, you have to have a character, a marketable personality. You have to have marketable music. You have to have, you have to be fashionable in style.
Yeah,
and then the whole family aspect too. If you're married and you have kids, like they're trying to make money off of every aspect of your life.
Exactly. And Jay, like it doesn't all come at once too. Like a lot of people they'll try to get multitasked and they'll try to start all this stuff and get confused because they don't have a team together. A lot of people try to do this alone. If you don't have a team together, I highly suggest that you get a team of either managers. You need a manager, personal and business, someone who knows business, or else you're gonna get fucked. And you also need attorneys and lawyers at hand. You don't just need to own a lawyer, right? Like that's gonna be very expensive, but you need to have one that you can call. That if you have a document that you're signing, you better hand it to him first.
Read it over
before you get your shit. Yeah, before you get your shit taken from you. Some record labels like you think like getting jumped is bad. Like you better watch out. Like they'll really jump you.
Getting robbed is different for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. But like it doesn't all come at once. And some people start it before they get famous. Some people build it off of what they have monetarily. As they gain more influence, more money, they're able to buy stuff like shows. They'll buy shows like Tory Lanez on MTV. They'll have they'll have other means of making money, broadcasting stuff to make money. Because that broadcasting, especially on commercial television, it makes a lot of money. You'd be surprised. Some of the people behind the soundtracks for commercials are making like $20,000. Yeah, easily. Bank. And I had an internship in that like last summer, which is pretty crazy.
That's dope.
At a sound house. But yeah, it's really profitable if you get out there into the corporate. I don't want to say corporate because when you think corporate, you think like a desk job, right? But
I mean, I see what you mean though, yeah.
Yeah, more you want to be out there in a public setting with actual stuff that can generate revenue. You know, like opening a clothing store, whatever, art. But a lot of these artists that are successful now, like Post Malone, you want to look at like Lil Uzi, all of them. Whenever Lil Uzi or Playboi Carti, for that matter, says like YSL, like Louis in the song, right?
People are going.
They like it, yeah, they like that shit, right? But you wouldn't know that they got endorsement deals with those brands. So they're paid to have a line about Louis or Gucci, whatever.
Absolutely.
In that.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So, and they're getting free clothes. If you think that they're like going out and buying like all that, like the record label buys a lot of that, all the clothes and shit. Yeah, like they do buy like a good amount of what they own, but a lot of their property, most of the times in most situations, it depends on how their money's made, but it belongs to the record label a lot of the time. That's another thing that people don't know. Like cars, rental cars, that's being paid for by record labels. Because
off camera we were talking about the difference between deals. So but before we get into that, if I wanted to become an artist, how would I do it? So can you sort of walk me through beginning, you know, how do I approach my music? How do I start to brand? What types of deals to look out for? Can you sort of walk me through that?
So as an artist starting out, you really just want to have a plan. Don't even think about becoming an artist until you have a plan of exactly how you're going to make your break into the industry. Because every single day, there's a different artist that wants to be it there. You know, like everybody wants it more than you. So you have to just prove that you want it more than them and speak it into existence. No, don't speak it into existence. Act it into existence, rather. It's all about being prepared. You know, you have to know your stuff. You got to come up with a detailed plan. You might not have to do that alone. You need a manager or someone to think about shit with. Don't do this alone because a lot of people that go into it alone find themselves lost. They don't have enough hands to handle all the operations that go on besides what they can do themselves, like record a song and just pay for that to get engineered. And it's very rare to make it alone. Some people do it because they're very talented, but you want to put yourself with a team. Then once you have a full plan of what you want to do, you have to find your way of breaking in to the industry. What sound are you going to create that deviates from the norm, that it can also catch on? And you got to be real with yourself. Like you have to record, you have to hear it back, but you also have to have like 30 other people hear it back, people who are not your friends, people who don't know you. Because then they'll actually give you a real input. See, like
some real shit, just to objectively say, this shit sucks, or no, that's fire. Keep going in this direction.
If it sucks, exactly. So, if you ask a friend, like, how does this song sound? And like, it's you, they know you, like, they're gonna say like, oh, that's fire, ha ha ha. Like, nah, bro, like it's not fire. Then like,
I don't want that. You shouldn't want that. Yeah.
So that's a big thing. Do not go to your friends. Have other ears on it. Because if you're the only one listening to it, and this can be very hard, like especially for me, sometimes it gets very tough being a self-produced artist. I hear the beat because I made it. I like hear it back in my head playing all the time. I hear my vocals like while I'm engineering them. It's tough to engineer yourself too, and like it just keeps playing back. So at some point, it's hard to believe, but you lose perspective the more you go into the process of trying to do everything yourself, which is why I say put the 100%. Team together, because your ears are going to be the only one that's listening to it, and it will get old. You know, like you'll just think it sounds good, and then you'll go back and listen to it the next day, and you'll be like, oh, I need to change this. I need to change this. So that's why it's a big process aspect in the industry too. You got to be willing to go through the process. That's a lot of artists release albums as often as they do or as slowly as they do because it shows how much work goes into the project. It might take a year.
Yeah, definitely. This is why, like, but I feel like then again, I see what you're saying. Like, you got like Frank Oceans, and you got like Drake's, people who take 2 years or a year to really put out a piece of music. But this is, it's a masterpiece. Really, it's artwork. This is what Beyonce was saying though. She said people aren't even digesting the music. Like, think about the last time you hear a lot of other people. They don't digest the music. They look at one song, does it have a star next to it? Oh, or who's in the feature, blah, blah. But there's no just a piece of work. What I can go back to is, everyone knows the J. Cole's, or, there's certain people who can do it on their own, or the Kendricks, or even Drake's. But even with those, a lot of people aren't just sitting down, digesting the music and saying, damn, that's some artwork.
Definitely. And, I love to listen to albums, like, from this first song to that, because then you really get an idea. But also, that's another thing as an artist. If you ever release a project, first impression always matters. So, like, if you're going to have an intro song, you best believe, and if it's in, like, an audio sample, you best believe that shit better be, like, 30, 40 seconds, if at all. And if it's going to be an intro song, it better be one of the best songs in the album. If all of them are going to be the best, as you claim, you got to go with the one that most people told you was the best, who are not in your circle, like people that you work with on some business shit. So honesty is a huge killer in the industry. You got to be honest with yourself all the time, because if you're not, and you're not willing to change, and you're not willing to learn through constructive criticism, some people don't take that lightly. Some people take criticism hard, and those are the people as artists who cannot develop because they can't learn and they want to be stuck in their own ways. I've been accused of that myself. I've been accused of being very stubborn and egotistical, but part of that, it comes from me just having this completely direct vision towards being unique, towards being different. And criticism is how you take it. Like, it's if you want to absorb it. You cannot just leave yourself open to being criticized all the time, right? And you just want to change after each criticism you take, because it proves that you aren't as strong-willed and creative towards your own creative efforts as you are, because you're just going to stay stuck in worrying about what other people are thinking. So you have to, like, as an artist, you have to learn how to take criticism the right way. And it means taking in what's good and what you think works, even trying what could be bad. But if it sounds good and it's a mistake, I mean, some of the best pieces that I've written have been mistakes. And always try out other people's theories. Always try out theories that, like, you want to try out, even if you think it's going to be complete shit. You don't know until you try. So, like, that's a big thing when it comes to music.
Yeah. So
the waters.
No, really. And so you've sort of moved us through the steps of that. So on the back end, when we're talking about deals, what's the difference between like a 360 deal, or like, are there any types of other deals? Can you sort of like describe that for us?
Yeah. So a 360 deal is pretty much like a 360 deal. It's like referring to like a circle. Okay. Like, where there's a bunch of different cuts in it. And if you've ever seen a pie chart where there's like different percentages, right? It's going to show you like, all right, like the percentage of a population. So each of these sections in the circle has managers is one section, producers, royalties, blah, 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 you name it. Record label, there's going to be, and under the record label, there's going to be subcategories, executive, there's going to be the communications team. There's going to be everyone in that circle who is contributing to your success. That's why business and being able to make as much money as you want to comes into play. And that's where being able to sell comes into play as well. That rhymed, those bars. No.
Because the way I understood it was that the label sort of fronts a lot of the cost, right? So that's why you see a lot of young people like TJ, or like a lot of these young artists, they have so much money and stuff like that from the jump, or they have the chains because
it's like a credit card.
Yeah, basically, because they're funding so much of it, and then and then on the other end, once you actually begin to gain stuff, that's when they take back a lot of that shit. So you're not so it's sort of like not that you're working for free, but almost, because you asked them for so much in the beginning.
They're building your success. They're building that.
So yes, you have that push, but at the same time, where it comes back into play is that you have to then give a lot of that back. That's the way I understand.
Exactly. Yeah, it's vegetables and dessert, you know, like. But, you know, like, yeah, let me give you a good example. So an artist will have a hit song. Lil TJ will have a hit song. Whatever, like, I don't really listen to Lil TJ that much, but
you're a fucking hater.
I'm not from New York. I do, but I just don't know like his titles like that. But if he has a hit song per se with like 400 or 500 million plays, right? And the record label comes to him, that's like his jump start. Like, say that's the first song that he blows up with, and the record label comes to him wanting to pay him in advance of $2 million. Let's say like $2-3 million. Sounds good. And he thinks that he's like, okay, I made it like one hit like this. I can just keep on making hits like that. Like, no problem.
DaBaby.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why they're successful. But that's also, you have to be a leader too. If you're stuck in the following stage, you're not going to be able to keep on making money because you're not going to know what's next. So, and as being a leader, you know what's next because you're the one doing the shit.
Okay. So let's talk about that real quick. So like, just for an example, like using DaBaby. For example, like so many people complained about him having the same flow, right? But the way I understood it was like, okay, he's making so much money off of this flow that I would, as a business person, I would stick with that as long as I could. And then once you start to see the numbers sort of flicker, boom. But I already have, you change, but I already have that other flow. Like, he released some stuff where he had a different flow. So it lets us know, okay, he can switch up. But I wouldn't release a project or anything like that with a completely different flow and style until there was, until I was ready to, or until the numbers started to change. And then I jump into a whole different type of category now. Would you approach it the same way, or would you always just be wanting to constantly push like a Kanye or something like that?
That's where A&Rs come in too. Like artist repertoire. So basically they come in and they will change your persona as needed. They'll change what you wear, even. They'll change like how you can gain influence. And if they feel it's the right time, those are the people that you're talking about in the behind the scenes area. They're also a part of the 360 deal. I would say they have like about, I don't want to name numbers, but they would probably have around like 2 to 3% of the circle because they're pretty important. Like A&Rs are very important. Those are the guys that find the artist in the first place and see talent. Those are the talent finders. As far as, what were you saying again? Sorry, what was the question? The specific question you had?
Oh, I was saying, with like DaBaby, for example, would you sort of like play it safe in a way in terms of like trying to gain as much revenue from this one style of music and then switch it as need be, like, when the numbers start to drop or whatever? Or would you be like a Kanye and just try to always push the bar and be a constant innovator, not really worrying about what the people are, you know what I mean?
It's really like what you're saying. Yeah, what you're saying is very similar to what I was saying before too, about like constructive criticism and being able to take criticism. Kanye, he doesn't take criticism well because, like, look at where he is. He doesn't really need to take criticism because he's stuck in this phase where people will trust whatever he comes out with and love it. It's hard to get there. Believe me, like Travis, like it's hard to get to those.
Travis is another one. Yeah, absolutely.
And you also have people like you're talking like DaBaby who they have the same flows, but also Kanye West doesn't collaborate with other artists, or he does, but very rarely. It's a lot of him on the scene. That's just how he is.
Yeah, especially again, like, of course he's like a super dramatic case of that, but when you got someone like Kanye, for example, he knows how to produce, he knows how to do like the engineering, he knows how to do so much that when you work with him, it's like, okay, you're just on the track. Like, it's his vision, really. And we saw that with, him doing like the Pusha T stuff, or him doing the what's your name, Taylor? Dude, I just forgot her name. He did Pusha T. No, not
Oh
Taylor Swift.
yeah, I thought you were talking about when he went on stage.
No. I mean, like he produced like Pusha T's album. He did Nas's. Tiana Taylor. That's what it was. He did Tiana
Yeah,
Taylor's.
Tiana Taylor did Kid Cudi's album.
Kid
Can See
Cudi's right,
Ghosts.
but it was
Yeah.
a lot of him and what he saw for them, and then they hopped on and of course made it their own too. But
Yeah,
that's a
I mean, the people in the music industry see Kanye as a god. Like, I'm sure they're honored to have that kind of input.
Yeah,
and like
you
have
do
them,
it.
yeah, like yeah, exactly. Just like how Travis Scott like cried his first time in a car meeting Kid Cudi because like he was a huge fan of him and was like honored to be in his presence, like playing songs, unreleased songs for him. That's a big story. Yeah, that's another one. That's a good one you might want to look up on YouTube. But like. Also, what I was going to say before about the baby is he has a lot of collaborations and features. So he knows, and his A&Rs know exactly who just released an album, who was already popular from a few weeks ago, who's still going to be in the minds of people because they heard them recently. They know exactly. There's all these calculations that go into it. And a lot of it's marketing and the people who are involved in marketing. A lot of A&Rs have some marketing experience. So they know exactly what to provide to the artist, and it may cost them more money, but it's also going to generate more money. So you need to have money to make money, just like everybody knows. But that runs especially true in the music industry. The baby will have different artists, and he'll have some consistent ones, especially ones that are signed under him, like as in his own label. There's a sub-label under the label that he's signed to. And he's going to know exactly who to feature, who to bring up. Like, people from his own hood, I guess. Like, yeah, they want to raise up their voice in the hood. Pretty much. They want to bring them out of there. So, like, like, when he collaborates with, like, a female artist, right? Him and Cardi B had a hit. Like,
Cardi, Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Meg Thee Stallion had a huge hit, too. So, when you're able to collaborate with artists like that, it not only introduces you to their fan base, but it will bring people from their fan base to your fan base. So if you catch my drift, that's also a huge thing that I didn't mention before about starting as an artist. Do as much collaborating as you can. Have open verses, like send shit over, like have like empty tracks with like just you on the chorus if it needs to be like that. See if they fuck with it. Like, if they do, a lot of the times, if they see something over it, they're willing to collaborate with you. You're automatically introducing yourself to a completely different audience. And who knows who's gonna fuck with it from their audience, who's gonna show it to their friends, like, who's gonna even add it to, like, one of those, like, official Spotify playlists.
Exactly. If it's not, I see what you're saying. If you're that good and you have talent, you should be able to just give so that people are like, oh, his shit's cool. Boom, boom, boom. We're going. We're moving. We're shifting. We're flowing.
Exactly.
But with that being said, as we sort of come down, I just have one last question for you.
No doubt, bro.
Give me a hot take, dude. Give me a hot take. Give me something on your mind, because we're definitely gonna have you back to catch up with you.
Definitely.
But give me something. What's up?
We want to talk music or not? We've talked music enough. Like through these times, man, like we gotta know peace and love, because every single day I walk down the street and I see people frowning if they don't have their mask on. But I see people looking down at the floor. I see people on their phones all the time. And it's summertime. Like, bro, the weather's nice. People are pressed because of the pressed times, but at some point, you got to bring yourself out of that. We all got to bring each other out of that. And we got to spread positivity and love, because that's all we can get. That's all we can provide to get through these bad times. Like, it's tough. And it's going to get tough again. If you think coronavirus is like the worst, you got a whole nother thing coming, because we're probably going to get into World War III in like 5-10 years. And like, so, I mean, like, all you can do through these times is be positive. And, like, whether it be music, that's how I channel it. But whether it be music, whether it be clothing, whether it be podcasts, man, like, just continuing to spread what's good and what you feel is good, what people need to hear, what people want to hear, even if they don't want to hear. Like, sometimes that's what needs to be heard. Like,
it needs to be said. Absolutely.
Exactly. So I just wanted to, I want to finish with that. Just like, I hope you go on to. I hope everybody goes on to do great things, bro. Especially shit that they love. You know,
Awesome.
like that's true, and it brings true to home every time. So, you know, like, it was great talking to you, Jay. I appreciate you having me on
Thank you.
ITR. I'm looking forward to being back for sure.
Awesome.
It's definitely
Awesome.
a good meet. Great questions.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So thank you guys. This is the end of our episode. Thank you to Bludakid for coming up here. Go follow him. Where can they follow you at?
They can follow me at Bludakid on Instagram. It's BLUDA Kid, KID.
Awesome,
Yes,
awesome. Again, thank you to Vision Apparel in Law. You can go follow them as well on Instagram. Shout out Vision. Got to get that in there. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.
Take care, man.